You don't search for validation. That lies in madness. There's some saying along those words. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not a philosophizer. But when you search for it, you very rarely find it. But when it comes to the Cleveland Guardians and what they got over this past weekend with 5 All-Stars, that's a little validation, okay? I want to win the Central. I think they're going to do that. I want to go to the playoffs. I, for the love of God, want them to make a trade. But I liked what I saw. And I was shocked to see that you got the 5 that you did. 3, I thought were locks. Naylor getting in and David Fry, great stories. But it's validation. That is validation for your team and how good you are to be represented as well as the Guardians are for the All-Star game coming up. That's great. Well, I guess put a banner up. I don't know. They get their jerseys. We'll have a fun time with it. Great job on Guardians fans to vote the starters in. You got a little validation when it comes to the guards. Now, I will turn my attention to the Cleveland Guardians and something that I heard from Mike Chernoff over the weekend on SiriusXM MLB Network talking about the trades. And I'm not going to let them off the hook on this. I know Cherney's out there trying to temper expectations and saying, wow, there's not a lot of moves going on and teams aren't really going to sell. I don't care. I've got no time for it. You got a really good baseball team. You win another series. Thank you, Bo Naylor. You're on to go beat up on the Tigers over the next couple of days. Still need to make that trade. We'll hear from Chernoff coming up. Got to talk some NBA. Cavs with another Donovan Mitchell-led type of move, it seems like, with Johnny Bryant coming in as associate head coach under Kenny Atkinson. Talk a little Mitchell. Speaking of trades, what's going on with them? A lot of football to get to this morning, which I think is interesting. NFL running back rankings from Jeremy Fowler. He talks to execs, scouts, and coaches to rank the best running backs in football. Still some love for Nick Chubb, which is great. And also, one area of the Browns roster that we're looking at, it's not good. We overlook it. You have a solid roster, but there's one area that stands out amongst the rest. We got a big week for us when it comes to the grid. Do you want to announce what we're going to do if we ace the grid?
No, because if we don't, it'll be really sad.
So we have got to ace the grid to get a potential big giveaway for the people out there. We'll tell you about the college championship. Ken Miles is going to stop by this morning, talk about our latest update with my racehorse and our big play horse. We got our bracket, which is going to be a good one on the guitar side of things. Time up, morning update. Got it all for you on a beautiful Monday. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. Happy to have you on. I'm sure some people dragging a little. I got all mine, Ryan.
Yes.
Do you have all yours? All right. Just making sure. Just making sure. Everybody make it? Everybody make it through the weekend all right? Going a little slow. We were at Justin Timberlake last night. I knew 4 songs. That was it.
That's
4
okay.
songs. But my wife is a giant fan. He was like one of those guys, and it's an interesting conversation of an entertainer. I went strictly because I wanted to be able to say I saw Justin Timberlake. And it's like he does shows for millions of people. It's not really that big of a thing, but like, I don't know. I guess it's a generational thing. When your parents or uncles or aunts or older people go like, oh, I saw, Led Zeppelin. I saw The Who. Like you see the Rolling Stones. I mean, I guess we all could have gone and seen the Rolling Stones, but like, I wanted to be able to say I saw Justin Timberlake. So I did that, scratch it off. I don't know if I'll ever go to a concert. It was a fine concert. It's a fine concert. It's pretty packed at the Q, which is fun, but happy to have you alongside here as we all kind of rebound from the long weekend with the 4th of July. Great news for the guards this weekend when they got their 5 All-Stars. I got to tell you, I really didn't think David Fry was going to make it. And some of the write-up, and I know it's articles that always go snubs, biggest snubs. Like, oh, Lindor didn't make it. Ooh, It was him and Brent Rooker of the A's. And a lot of people wrote that they had 2 guys that could have made it from Oakland, right? They have their reliever, Mason Miller, who did, and Brent Rooker, their DH, having a good season. He didn't make it because the A's suck, okay? I do think it's a cool rule that everybody has a representative, right? Everybody's got somebody there, and you get to watch, no matter how bad your team is, you get somebody to go. And also, like, you still got to fill that roster out where there's top-level guys that they don't want to play even 5 innings, right? Shohei Ohtani's going to bat twice, and that'll be it. Jose Ramirez, get him 2 at-bats, sit him on down, get some of the other guys in there. And I think overall, I liked what the All-Star team was. I wanted to see Paul Skeens there. We all did. Good. I'm glad he went. Like Bobby Witt, very deserving to go. Fry going, though, is a clear representation of the Cleveland Guardians. I'm not searching for that validation. I was saying a minute earlier, that lies in madness. When you search for it, you'll never find it, right? But that is something that we have one of the best teams in baseball. We should have more All-Stars than anybody else. And teams that suck, you get your one. That's it. So this is one that I actually think really worked out in the way of the Guardians of what I want to see. We should, I'm not saying baseball should have it that if you have this record or you're in this position, you get 5 All-Stars and you get 4, and then you just kind of trickle it down from there. You want to leave it open to the fans, and they're voting, and that's fine. You got it the right way. It's no contract things. Like, they all get bonuses and stuff, but it's not like the NBA about getting all NBA and Supermax and things like that. This is truly for the fans. And I like what they did for the Guardians. You have a team that's the best. They deserve to have 5 All-Stars. Like, that should be the minimum. If you're leading a division or you're one of the best teams in baseball, you should get 5. Now, I know people in Boston are all pissed off that Devers isn't starting over. Like, come on. Jose Ramirez is one of the best players in baseball. And everybody, rallies to their team. And sometimes you're in the bubble and you don't watch other teams as much. He deserves it. Clase was a no-brainer. Quan deserved it. And frankly, I didn't know if Naylor was going to go. But I'm happy he did. And Fry was the one that I thought was really a nod to the Guards to say, like, you guys have the best team in baseball. We're sending it. They were the only ones that really deserved maybe another reliever. You have the best bullpen in baseball. Maybe Gaddis, maybe Cade Smith. But that gets tough because you only take closers at that point. It's fine. But, Ryan, I'm happy we got the 5, and I think it is that good representation that the Guardians are one of the best teams in baseball, and I will not listen to anybody bitch about it.
Yeah, no, it was cool. I was
off.
the same way. I didn't think David Fry was going to ultimately get it, so I was happy to see him. I think he deserves it. Clase, as you mentioned, no-brainer. But it'll be exciting. The most we've sent since 2018. Obviously, we know how those years went, so hopefully this one goes a little bit better at the finish, but it is nice to be well-represented, the most in the AL, and I think that says a lot about where this team is at right now.
Well, how we finish it out, Ryan, comes to something we're going to talk a little bit about this morning. So Mike Chernoff was on Sirius XM, MLB Network, and he was asked about the prospects of making a trade. You know where I'm at? I need a trade. You have got to go get a starter. They sent down Logan Allen because he took 90 pitches to get to 5 innings or whatever. They're stretching the bullpen out. And this is bad on my part. I tried to look at the schedule. Do they even need a 5th starter until we get to the All-Star break? So here's where we're at. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Detroit, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tampa. So you do have 7 straight games from now until Sunday before you get to the All-Star break. So you do have a hole on Thursday at 1:10. So you got Gavin Williams tonight, then Lively, then Bybee. If I had to guess, that might be if you can get some length out of Lively and Bybee, you can go bullpen day on Thursday. Carrasco, Gavin Williams, Ben Lively, you're off to the All-Star break. So that's probably why Logan Allen got sent down. They could always recall him if they needed to. They needed to fortify that bullpen. You have issues right now, right? Like, I saw the stat line from Tristan McKenzie. It seemed like he was working through some things in that starting Columbus, but of course, Ryan, what did he do?
2 home runs.
He gave up some home runs. Okay, he's still working on some things. And I don't think Logan Allen needed to go down and necessarily work on something, but it's just how they wanted to lay it out. They got to go to starting pitcher. Now, what I heard from Mike Chernoff on SiriusXM, we'll play it here. He's tempering expectations. And I understand that trades are 2 teams. You can't force anybody else to help you out. They're not going to just give you somebody for nothing. But here's Mike Chernoff. He was on SiriusXM, MLB Network. He was talking about the options coming up at the trade deadline. Sound courtesy of SiriusXM.
I think starting pitching is probably the weakest spot on the team. So, of course, we're going to look when we're playing this well at the trade market and what it has to offer. But you're right. This is a really unique year in the trade market. There's only 5 or 6 teams that are true sellers, I think. We've been on the phones a lot, both trying to do our draft prep, but balance that with trade deadline prep. and trying to identify who those players are, either at start or other areas of the team that could complement the team and help us. But it's also unique because a lot of the starters that we expected to be on the market, or that I think many teams were expecting to be on the market, have had injuries recently. So that limits the supply even further, right? And then you have a few of them within our division, and you don't know what those dynamics will look like. We're not afraid to make trades within division, but it's sometimes harder. So I think we're seeing what might be a very tough and challenging environment to acquire a starter. It's why we made a move to get Matt Boyd. You know, our owner really stepped up in giving us the resources to take a gamble on somebody coming back from surgery. But he looks like he may be able to help us in the second half. And when he is at his best, and he looks, at least in his live BPs right now, like he could be back to his best, when he's at his best, he can be a real contributor in the rotation. So we're trying to find as many ways as possible to bolster our internal guys, right? Get them back on track, find additional complements like Matt Boyd. And then, of course, we'll work the phones for the trade market leading up to the deadline and see if there are other ways to potentially complement that group.
All right, that's Mike Chernoff on Sirius XM. I'm a Dolan defender, but it really stepped up to give Matthew Boyd a couple of $1 million? Ooh, come on, man. Matthew Boyd cannot be your move. And I listen, I'm not yelling at Cherney. He's doing the best that he can. You're calling. You're trying to get these trades done. Sure, you have an opportunity to sign Matt Boyd. Great, do it. Get Tristan McKenzie back and all that. Here's what I really want to say off of hearing Mike Chernoff at Sirius XM. What's he doing? He's tempering expectations to say, there's not a lot going on out there. The starter pool is down a little bit. You now, with the added wild card, you have more teams that think they're in it. I don't care. I don't care. Those are excuses. And we get wrapped up in this town about winning the trade, right? And being able to sit there and go, ha ha, Rays, look, we got Kyle Manzardo and you just sent away Aaron Savali. Ha ha. We love winning the trades. Lose the trade. I don't care. I don't care anymore. That's not where my focus is. My focus is this team needs help right now. So if on paper you make a trade and there are people, oh man, they gave up too much. Don't care. It means more for us now. It means more to me, to you, the fans out there, that they make a trade. Even if they lose the trade, I don't care. That's not the win-loss that I'm worried about anymore. When you're rebuilding, you need to win every trade. And they look like geniuses when they make moves like Aaron Savali, and when they trade Corey Kluber for Emmanuel Clase. And you sit there and you're like, man, this is great. Lose a trade. I don't care. Have people rip you in articles all week about you gave too much up for a guy you'll see in a couple days. And Jack Flaherty, they go get Eric Fetty that they just saw. And you'd be saying you can't do that as a general manager, right? You can't make a trade like that and give up more. Go for it, man. Just go. I'm okay losing a trade if that gets a guy in here that is going to help you come playoff time. The starting rotation come playoffs, I got two guys I know I can rely on. That's it. Go get me somebody else. And if you have to lose that trade, and if you have people telling you give up this prospect, there are prospects I don't want to let go. Angel Martinez, he ain't going anywhere. Hold on to him. I don't want to see John Kenzie Noel go. But I borderline say anybody else, go for it. Go for it. Somebody calls about Jonathan Rodriguez? Sure. Somebody calls about whatever. And I'm sure that Chernoff is having those conversations. I don't care if they lose this trade. You got to give up one extra little piece to get it done. Do it. You have to do it. So I get that the Guardians have always played the game where they'll never give up too much and they worry about winning the trades and making sure that it looks good. And again, sometimes trading for guys that you don't know what they're going to be for 3-4 years. I need somebody for the now, and I'm very willingly going to give up more because your window is open now. Go for this thing now. And there could be a time that in 3 years you go, you idiots, you gave away this guy. I will never do that because it's about the now. In 3 years, if you give up a prospect, right, and that guy turns out to be an all-star and turns out to be some amazing player, right, and you go, well, you traded him for 4 months of this starter, I will have to go back, and I'm going to ask you to do the same in that scenario and go back, but what did that guy do for us the rest of the way out? And even if it crashes and burns, so what? I'm never one that will hold a GM up on that. You made the trade that you thought was right at the time. If it goes bad, it goes bad. And then I would just fall back and say, yeah, look at all the rest of the trades that they went. They're allowed to lose a trade, and I'm fine losing one right now if it gets somebody in here to fortify this rotation, even if you got to give up a little bit more. Even if you got to get up a little bit more. And I'll defer to the guys like Justin Leda, Locked On Guards. He's great. He knows much more than I do about these prospects. And I'm sure he could come on here and tell me I'm an idiot for even discussing some of these guys getting traded away and getting a 33-year-old reliever or, starter. Those numbers don't work. And this trade, it's like an NBA trade machine or like in Madden when you make a trade. You do it and they're like, well, you're actually going to lose this trade or it's a C. Don't care. Don't care. Go do it. Go make the trade. But you got to force somebody to do it. And that's unfortunately, I think, maybe what the Guardians are going to have to do now. They're going to have to beat some team over the head with a deal that they cannot pass up on. And am I getting Justin Verlander in here? Am I getting Max? No. Well, I'd love to get Garrett Crochet, but I've got my realist expectations on this. I've got that. And yeah, I'd love to get Garrett Crochet. And there's a little part of me, too. It's like, keep him the hell away from some of the other teams. Like, he wants to go to L.A., go to the Dodgers. That's fine. Go ahead. But there's that element of it, too. You have so many other teams that do view themselves in this fight, and it does seem like everybody's trying to get after starting pitching. Right now, across baseball, what is it? You got lineups up and down, and, a little piece here or there, sure. Lineups are pretty set. Everybody's after the pitching right now. You want to get another reliever and turn these into 4, 5-inning games? Sure, fine, but they got to go do something. So, I appreciate Cherney giving people the inside to be like, listen, this is a tough go right now. And the one part that he mentioned was about some of these guys that you thought would be on the trade block, they're hurt right now. And even then, you don't want to go trade. Talk about me losing the trade. Go trading for an injured guy. Is he actually going to get back? I don't know. But go do something. That's the point. You lose the trade, I'm not going to hold that against you. And there is the Dolan element of it, too, where he said, gave us the resources to sign Matthew Boyd. You're going to have to spend some money. Prospects are cheap. It's probably why the Guardians love them so much. They're cheap. Maybe you got to eat some contract here. And giving up, the future as well. And I keep going back to when the Guardians have made those types of trades. When you got Andrew Miller, when you sent Mejia to the Padres, all those guys, none of those guys ever really panned. Who's the last prospect that you traded away that really became a star? People were up in arms when they got rid of Will Benson. Mm-hmm. And I like Will Benson. Is he still batting 216 or something like that down there in Cincinnati? Nolan Jones had a little tiny turnaround out there in Colorado. And those guys, I think they were traded, but they were sent away. They said, we don't have a spot for you anymore. We're moving on. They missed on Bradley Zimmer as a first-round pick. Make the trade. Mm-hmm. Make the trade. And I'd be fine with that. Again, I don't want to say anybody because I want Noel to stay here. I want Martinez to stay. I like the dynamics that they have on this team. I need them to go make a move. And I'm sorry to Chernoff that it's tough. I figured it would be. They're getting ready. I got some draft stuff. You reading the stuff on the draft now?
Yeah.
It's going to be, I think it's going to be Bazana now.
I'm seeing Weatherholt.
So the reason is, so they have more money to sign somebody else. That's an interesting dynamic that I don't want to talk too much here because I think it just gets confusing for a little bit of people. There is, and you see sometimes teams trade for what they call is, there's international bonus money to go sign people, and then there's money, basically think about a salary cap in the MLB draft. So if you sign somebody, you draft somebody first overall, and they want a giant fat signing bonus, you then have less money to be able to sign guys later in the draft. The Guardians' play here might not be Charlie Condon. It might not even be Bazana anymore. They take a slot pick that's a little less, so then because there's a world that they get 3 picks in the top 30. And if you can make those other 2 moves, maybe you supplement that with your other 2 picks as well. It's not quite the NFL where you take who you take and their money slot and everybody's paying everybody. It's no big deal. So I'm interested to see how that goes. The future is still bright. The future on this team of the people you have in place, the contracts you still have to give out, I'm done with prospects. And there's been a lot of great examples of good prospects coming up. John Kenzie Noel's not going to go back down for a while. He's raking right now. I really like Angel Martinez a lot. Good. That's all. Everybody else, I'd have conversations, and teams are calling, and it's going to start with some of those top prospects. Got to do something.
Yeah, I mean,
Lose
as good
the
as
trade.
the Guardians have been with in terms of winning trades and in terms of protecting the farm system, I mean, where's that gotten them in the last 70 years? You haven't won a World Series since, and you've been to one in the last 20, 40 years, whatever it was. When you are looking at the team right now, and there's a real possibility you're going to head into All-Star break, not only leading the division by a decent amount, but possibly having the best record in the entire Major League Baseball, how can you be serious with yourself if you don't make a move when you have this glaring hole that once you get to the postseason is going to cost you?
Yeah.
If you don't make a single move, how do you look at your team and expect them to play for you?
Well,
and
right,
as fans,
right.
and as fans who have been going to Progressive Field at an amazing rate this season,
I'm glad you brought that up. I think we all saw the stats.
How can you expect people to buy in anymore when you're not being serious about this baseball team?
Exactly, and that's the other thing about losing the trade is I guess the easier way for me to say it is I don't actually need to get a piece back that equal like your return on investment. That's what you always want to get. Oh, return on investment. I'm fine losing that. I am fine of that meter tipping a little bit more towards not getting a full return on your investment. Oh, Matt, you give all this up to get a starter in here to help you win what, maybe 5 more games? Yeah, I will. And I'll do that because you are a contending team. I guess just kind of hit my head a little bit here. Do you think the Guardians know how to hit the gas? Do you know what I'm talking about? Where this team has been so smart, basically for most of my lifetime, about making the right draft picks, making the right trades. And I don't want to say in the perpetual rebuild because they always seem to avoid it and they just keep supplementing. But like outside of Andrew Miller, what move have they ever made that you felt like they're hitting the go button and it worked? Edwin Encarnacion didn't work. Donaldson didn't work. Jay Bruce didn't work. Ubaldo Jimenez didn't work.
Josh Bell. That was like the more recent one.
Well, Zunino, that whole, just good Lord. But like, that's what I'm saying. Are they a team that doesn't know how to hit the go button? Because now is the time you mash them. You slam it and you say, now we are in this. It's almost like when you evolve. Like they are now in a next tier, this next level. And it's a little foreign to them. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying them winning baseball games or leading the AL Central. This is something that they do not know. This is not something like the Houston Astros. And I get there's different dynamics with the markets and the money and all that kind of stuff. The Yankees know how to go. They know how to hit that button and go. Now, the problem is they mash it all the time and they screw it up and they're not as good as they should be and all that. The Dodgers know how to hit the go button, but they have a bajillion dollars out there to hand out to players. Their go button is different. I need the Guardians to hit the go button. Now is the time. Your return on investment, don't care. Hit the button and go. Get after this thing right now. And we'll see. We got the Guardians in action tonight. We'll get to our props for tonight with Gavin Williams back on the hill. Like to see a little bit more out of him tonight. 640 up there at Comerica. So we'll have fun. You ever been to Comerica? It's a good ballpark. It's a good ballpark. Detroit's a fine city. It's fine. It's right across the street from the Ford Field. So it's got a little character to it. I like it. We used to do a bus trip up there all the time. So 640 tonight. We are on FS1, by the way, tonight. So you got to turn over Fox for your game tonight. So we'll get to our odds with that coming up in a little bit. I got plenty of football to get to as well. But I wanted to just touch on the Cavs real quick. So over the weekend, the biggest news, Johnny Bryant is hired as the associate head coach for the Cavs under now Kenny Atkinson. And he was the guy when we were searching for the head coaching job. He's Donovan Mitchell's mentor. He is Donovan Mitchell's mentor. He was a guy that got brought up multiple times for potentially the big job because they were together out there in Utah. He did interview for their head coaching gig, and he's leaving the Knicks where he was just an assistant, so he gets a bump up in title to be an associate head coach after he's with the Knicks for 4 and the previous 6 years in Utah. But during his time, this is from Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. During Bryant's time with the Jazz, he became star guard Donovan Mitchell's player development coach, mentor, and confidant. In a conversation with Cleveland.com earlier this year, Mitchell referred to Bryant as one of the most influential people in his career. You made yet another move for Donovan Mitchell on your team. Well done, Cavs. Well done, Cavs. Whatever level you think Donovan Mitchell is in comparison to some of the other star players, we can have that debate all day long. Doesn't matter. He's the star player for your team. You do everything for him. You do everything that you want to move, coaching moves, player moves, these trades, which I just cannot make heads or tails of right now. Every trade that you make has got to be through the lens, or move, not just trade, but move. Every move has got to be through the lens of what is best for Donovan Mitchell. So, again, I'm not trying to crap on coaching staffs and saying that they're useless. You have an opening. There's a guy out there that means a lot to your star player. Bring him on in. Bring him on in. You see star quarterbacks. I mean, I don't want to go to Russell Wilson's level. Hey, you get your own little, you get your own office. You get your own play. Like, there's an element of that with any star player on any team. Donovan Mitchell deserves that. They bring him in. I think it's a great move from the Cavs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, anything now you're doing is to accommodate what you think Donovan Mitchell, anything that will help him, really. But what do you think Donovan Mitchell is thinking? Because as inactive as they've been throughout the beginning of free agency here, is he like, what are we doing? Because don't you think part of him extending here in Cleveland was truly the belief that he had, or maybe even a verbal agreement that we're going to go change this roster? Unless Donovan truly believes that what they have right now is good enough to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and eventually the NBA Finals. But I can't imagine that's true.
So I go back to what Woj said, and I tweeted that the day that Donovan signed the extension, right? And I'm paraphrasing, but he said they believe in this partnership to move forward into the future. My read into that is it's not that Mitchell would ever walk into Kobe Altman's office and say, do this, do that, cut this guy, trade this guy, this is what we're going to do. He has got to have the belief in Kobe Altman that he's going to make the right moves for Mitchell, and then that would then lend to making the right moves for the Cavs. So it's not that Mitchell's the ultimate shot caller here, but it's the belief that they are going to do something. And they could sit back with Donovan Mitchell and say, listen, same debate we're having with the Guardians. There was not a return on investment. There was not a trade out there that we were maximizing our talent here. And if they really want to hold on to, we just want to see what this core four can be with Kenny Atkinson, then I would put the onus on the trade deadline. And maybe Donovan Mitchell has a little bit of an intrigue to say, I kind of want to see it myself. That's the ultimate conversation that I think Kobe Altman had to have with Donovan Mitchell. When they sat down to say, have you seen enough with Allen, Garland, Mobley, and you? And Donovan might have said, yep, I'm done with it. I would probably have to believe that he said something along the lines of, like, I'd maybe like to see it again. And Kobe probably has listen, man, we know where we're at. You know where we're at. We will maybe eventually make this trade, but if we can't, we can't. Like, that comes back to that partnership. I think it's Donovan Mitchell trust Kobe Altman, whether you or I do or whatever. You got to trust Kobe Altman that he's going to make the right move for this team. You know where I stand. Get rid of him. Get rid of Darius Garland. That's not a shot at Garland, even if it's a little addition by subtraction, moving on from him, get another piece in. But now everything's drying up. I see that 3-team trade with DeMar DeRozan. Do I want DeMar DeRozan here? No. But I felt like opportunities to jump into some of these trades. And that might actually be your better one. A lot of the things is if you're going to trade away Darius Garland, this might have to be a 3-team trade. And you got to get picks from another team, and somebody's going to have to eat some salary, and you send Karis LeVert here, you send Darius Garland here. The question is, are the Cavs in a position that they feel like they have to trade Darius Garland? Because if they don't feel that way, then they are just fielding the calls instead of making the calls, which I think is so crazy, too. It bothers me when people go, oh, they're making phone calls. Of course they should be. Who cares if it gets leaked out? Well, you got to deal with the player being upset. It's a big boy business here. And I think Ryan, it's pretty apparent at this point I don't think the Cavs are making the phone calls. They're waiting for people. It's very passive, I think, of what the Cavs are doing. I don't like that, But if they sold it, at the end of the day, too, Mitchell signed. So what does it matter? Yeah, you want to keep him happy, and you could say, look at all these things we're able to do for you. Bring in Johnny Bryant. We told you we're going to try, but we never promised you that we would make a trade. We're just going to try really hard. And I think, I don't know, where are you at? I'm kind of resigned now. I think they're actually going to bring all 4 of them back, and we'll readdress this at the trade deadline.
Well, it's interesting because let's say they do run back this core 4, and let's say Darius returns to form, Evan Mobley's offense is even more developed, and they do go to the Eastern Conference Finals, right? That's great, and Kobe looks smart for holding on to his pieces. Flip it on the other side. This thing all goes belly up even more than it already has. Then you're going into next year, Donovan Mitchell, after his second year, will have that player option. And if things aren't well, he's going to opt out. So then you're maybe going into your not technically final year with him, but more than really, if he doesn't extend again, it's going to be your final year with him. And then what? You fire Kobe Altman and have a new GM?
Right, and that's the thing. You're talking about him making moves or picks to get stuff for another GM. You have no picks, so I guess you try to fix that up a little bit. But it's a player trade. You're talking about player trades. And some of the things, nobody wanted Miles Bridges here, and he's not. He resigned, so he's off that list. But you're starting to see this dry up. I'm hearing the same thing from the Guardians and the Cavs. Oh, there's no trade to be made. Oh, things are drying up. Don't care. Make something happen here. Figure something out. Now, the Guardians have much more ammo than the Cavs do. The Guardians can borderline get out there and almost force somebody to make a trade with them if you give up the right prospects or you make the right moves. But the Cavs are it's going to be a harder job. It's going to be a much harder job on the side of Kobe Altman to make these moves. At the end of the day,
I mean, who's even out there that would make the needle move even a little bit?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. And that's gets me back to an anger level of them spending too much time on this coaching search, and maybe they should have been in to go get DeJounte Murray. Maybe they should have been in. Again, I don't want DeMar DeRozan, but DeMar DeRozan is going to be making less money than like Isaiah Hartenstein. Like, that's crazy. Like the from the name recognition, but also just star power and all that kind of stuff. Go out there and try to force somebody. Try to force somebody to get you that trade. Got to try. See how it goes. Folks, busy week for us this week right here on Big Play because we will be down at the Colleague Championships starting on Thursday. So the tournament is here. It's tournament week. It's going to be so much fun. Ryan and I will be there Friday morning. We're doing our show live on Friday from 9 to 11, and you can come down and see us. ColleagueChampionship.com. That's colleaguechampionship.com. Tickets start at just $25. That includes access to the Colleague Infinity Zone, which is where we're going to be. An interactive zone, live music on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stage, food trucks, activations from LA Golf, X Golf, Horse Soldier Bourbon, and so much more. It's one ticket for 2 experiences. And again, tournaments start, and Wednesday is really when they get there. You get Thursday, Friday. You can go to colleaguechampionship.com. Get a pack of tickets. You can go all day. All week. You can go every day of the week of the tournament, which is going to be a lot of fun down there. Akron, Firestone South, starting July 10th through the 14th. This week, we'll be there on Friday. ColleagueChampionship.com for the tickets. Friday night is the Military Appreciation Concert with Cameron Marlowe. And then Peyton Manning's going to be there getting a Golf Ambassador Award. So he'll be down there. I think he knows the area well. Canton, do you stop by and look at your own bust in the Hall of Fame? If you're Peyton Manning, you're in town. Walk on through.
Might as well.
Might as well, right? ColleagueChampionship.com. So we'll see you there this week. Going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great. ColleagueChampionship.com for that. Over to the Browns. Couple things on the NFL side of things. And I want to start with Jeremy Fowler. He does this every year. It's one of my favorite offseason things. That he goes position by position. And so today kicks off the whole thing. Running backs, then he goes D tackles, edge rushers, safeties, tight ends, linemen, quarterbacks, linebackers, wide receivers. And he sits down and he asks league executives, coaches, and scouts to rank the top 10 players across 11 different groups. Now, I think you sit here and say, Denzel Ward, ranked pretty high at the corners, right? Myles Garrett should be there for the DNs. I would assume a guard or two, Amari Cooper, David Njoku. Like, I expect the Browns to be littered. Can I tell you the one position I can't wait to see? And I'm going to have to wait because I think it's one of the last ones that he does. Safety. I want to see if my guy Grant Delpit's up there. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Safety's in 3 days. Safeties are on Thursday. So we'll do that on Thursday. So they run through each position. Today is the running back room. And it's funny that Jeremy writes, he goes, the demise of the running backs was mildly exaggerated. And he said the glory days of 350 carries for a back in a season. The position has experienced a major infusion of young talent. Look at the past couple of drafts. But it's not a position of need anymore. It's not the prime position that it used to be. And you also got to remember that as they talk to league scouts and executives, they still have a bias. You know what I mean? Like either that guy is somebody that, I'm just going to say Christian McCaffrey is number one. This year he is number one. When they talk to a Carolina Panthers scout, are they angry because he's not there anymore? If they talk to a Seattle Seahawks scout, are they angry because they have to try to stop Christian McCaffrey? Just remember that with some of these. That it's a great exercise. I think it's really awesome. But they still have axes to grind. So let's see how it goes. Number one running back, according to ESPN, Jeremy Fowler, league executives, no shock, Christian McCaffrey. His highest ranking amongst the panelists was 1. His lowest ranking was 4. And he was second last year.
That's crazy, whoever put him at 4.
Because you try to think who would be ahead of him, right? Dominant in every category. Positive yards before and after contact. First and second in yards before and after contact. 5.6 yards per carry when McCaffrey was on the ball in first downs. And he averaged 5 yards a carry in between the tackles. Both of those were 4th best in the NFL. And he also had 67 catches for 560 yards. A veteran offensive NFL coach who did coach him said, quote, he does everything exceptionally. Explosive, vision, technique, versatility. He's a great teammate. He's a really hard worker. The only thing that was holding him back was injuries. But he's exactly how you would draw up a football player. A league executive said San Francisco made one of the best trades in a decade when they got him there because he is perfect for what they do. Christian McCaffrey at number 1. Number 2 was really shocking to me. So again, this is an average. When Jeremy sits down with all these league people, and I don't think he put in here how many. Let me see here. 1 second here. Okay. 80 voters submitted a ballot on at least one position, and in many cases, all of the positions. Any ties were additional voting or follow-up calls to break ties. So again, 80 people, you could have 10 different guys be your number 1, number 2, whatever. So it's a composite average. Because, Ryan, I would dare ask you to guess, in the running back rankings that would have shocked me, who do you think number 2 was?
Well, I don't think this would have shocked you, but, I mean, this is kind of just me giving you my rankings, I guess.
Sure.
And, obviously, if you go back last year before Nick Chubb's injury, I would have put him at, honestly, maybe 1.
Okay.
2 for sure between him and CMC, but so what I would say right now is Jonathan Taylor, but because you're shocked, I'm going to guess it's not the answer.
It's not, because I like Jonathan Taylor, and I would understand him being there. It's not him. It's Breece Hall.
Okay.
Breece Hall of the
when you
Jets.
go look at his numbers, they're gaudy.
So they said, brilliant as a rookie before he tore his ACL. But I think this is one that the execs and the scouts look at what he's going to be. A high-ranking NFL official on Breece Hall. He's a natural rusher with acceleration. He's got power, can create his own shot by making someone miss. 5th in the NFL, 4.3 yards per carry on a loaded box, which is 8 or more defenders in the box. That's some Nick Chubb level stuff. Like when they stack the box and he's still rushing for a bunch of yards. An NFL personnel evaluator. He's a legit dual threat glider with a high-level change in direction and vision. A home run hitter can grind volume and create explosive plays at any moment. So Breece Hall at 2.
Yes.
Which is a little shocking.
I had him on my fantasy team, so I was exceptionally hip to him.
Yeah.
So I was watching him every day. But truly, he's one of the guys like a Nick Chubb that is capable of, it feels like every play, he can break off a 20-yard run.
We get to number 3. And this is why I like this article, and I'm positive it is Nick Chubb. So think about it. ACL injury, which we know. He was the number 1 running back in this poll a year ago. And 80 NFL people still feel like Nick Chubb is elite. And in fact, somebody put him at number 1.
Dude, I mean,
somebody still put Nick Chubb at number 1.
I think as good as he's been throughout his whole career, he's earned that that nod
Body of work.
until I truly see this injury maybe derail your career, I'm not going to project that.
That is a great point. Where and I think I need to remind myself of this because I bleed brown and orange. I'm a big brown and I'm a giant Nick Chubb fan. How can I not be? He's a Batman fan. Let's go. So I am also like, that's a great, you talk about mentality shift of instead of it being, well, I hope he can come back or can he overcome this injury? Your mind shift has got to be, I'm going to believe he is going to come back until I'm proven he's not. Instead of him proving that he can come back from this injury, I need to be proven that he can't come back off this injury.
Right.
And that's maybe where a lot of people are writing up and thinking about this. So Chubb last year, number 1. Of the 80 people, his highest ranking was 1. His lowest ranking was unranked. So there probably are some executives or scouts or coaches that feel like, nope, this knee injury is not going to be good and all that kind of stuff. Here's the write-up on Chubb from Jeremy Fowler. He says, this one is complicated. Chubb has been the game's best pure rusher when healthy. But we know, knee injury, whatever. Chubb is expected to return in 2024. What exactly the Browns are getting on that return is tough to project. Some took Chubb off their ballots altogether, but he said many kept him in the top 3. An AFC executive. He would be number 1 for me if healthy. Even though I'm not sure how he's going to look, he deserves to be this high. Another AFC personnel evaluator. Even if he's lacking some explosion in the short term, he still has great instincts and great feet. Hopefully that shines through and he gets his power back. He's such a good player. Since entering the NFL in 2018, Chubb has averaged 5.3 yards per rush, which is the 3rd highest mark by a running back in the Super Bowl area with a minimum of 500 carries, only behind Bo Jackson and Jamal Charles. Does Jamal Charles still have the record for career rushes or average per rush? I think he does. I think he might.
Amongst running backs.
Yeah. So I like that right up there where still there's a lot of belief in the NFL circles that Nick Chubb can get back to where he is. And I liked how you put that, Ryan. My belief has got to be, I need to be proven that he can't come back from this.
Right.
As opposed to waiting the belief that he is going to come back from it.
Right.
So we'll see. All right. So 1, 2, and 3. Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall, Nick Chubb. Number 4, Saquon Barkley. His highest ranking was 2. Nobody left him out of the top 10. Every single person in this put him in the top 10 at least. AFC veteran scout, who ranked him 2nd, said, he's going to be a beast. The weapons around him, a dual threat quarterback, shotgun runs, and his versatility, it is a perfect fit. And some people feel like a career reset, much like Christian McCaffrey when he went to San Francisco. Durability is, of course, the part of the Barkley conversation. He's missed at least 3 games in 4 of his 6 NFL seasons. But the 2 seasons that he played fully, he totaled 3,600 rushing yards and 25 touchdowns in the 2 healthy years that he has. An NFL offensive line coach on Saquon Barkley. He's probably not as fast as he used to be, but he has the ability to make people miss in space, which is sometimes bad when you think he can bounce it and outrun people. But when he does get downhill, running in between the tackles, he's so strong, he's hard to tackle. So number 4 for Saquon Barkley. Number 5, Jonathan Taylor. Highest ranking, somebody put him 2nd, which we discussed. Jonathan Taylor. Number 6, Bijan Robinson, Atlanta Falcons. Number 7, Josh Jacobs, now up with the Green Bay Packers. Number 8, Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit Lions. Number 9, Derrick Henry, Baltimore Ravens. Number 10, a guy that I'm always been high on, Travis Etienne, Jacksonville Jaguars. Honorable mention, Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker, Isaiah Pacheco, James Cook, Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, and DeAndre Swift. Those are honorable mention. And then they got a list of guys that all just, Najee Harris got a vote. Raheem Mostert got a vote. Kyron Williams got a vote, but they didn't crack it there with that. I'm a little shocked that maybe Kenneth Walker hasn't, didn't crack that top 10. Big Kenneth Walker fan, but that's where it is. You want to hear the read up on Derrick Henry? So Derrick Henry, highest ranking of 3. Lowest ranking was outside the top 10. He was 5th a year ago. a veteran NFL coach on Derrick Henry. He's a warrior. He just keeps himself in such good physical conditioning with off-season workouts. I don't see him slowing down over the next 2 years. He's a volume back with great size, breaks tackles, deceptive speed, and no one's catching him if he gets going. I don't think he's lost a step from an NFL coach, AFC coach. An NFC scout on Derrick Henry. It's going to be interesting. They will probably go with a little more pistol, which is like being underneath center so he can get downhill. I'll kind of believe it when I see it on Derrick Henry. My Ravens hatred and bias is certainly a part of this right now. I'm not one ready to sit here and say, oh my God, Derrick Henry in the past. I'll wait to see what Derrick Henry has with that offense out there.
Yeah, I mean, I told you when he got traded, it didn't really scare me too much. I mean, that's a lot of tread throughout his career to not have, quote, lost a step. But then again, with him in the Ravens offense, I mean, like, it wouldn't necessarily shock me if he went out next season and just scored 15 touchdowns.
Right. And that's, I mean, I guess it wouldn't, but like, I just keep putting on the Ravens, man. I just want to keep putting that Maloik on the Ravens, and I think they're going to suck, but we'll have to see. So there's another area of the Browns roster that we have to be concerned about. So again, I'm excited for Jeremy. Every day this week, we'll do a different breakdown. So I saw this over the weekend, and shout out to Jared Muller of, Browns Digest, maybe? Dog Pound Daily? I can't remember. But anyway, that's where I saw it. So it goes back to an Aaron Schatz article on ESPN. The best teams ranked solely on their under 25 talent. So only based on teams that are 25 years or younger. And they did this by snaps, contracts, all that other kind of stuff. Best team, Houston Texans. CJ Stroud, Will Anderson, Derek Stingley, all that other kind of stuff. The Lions are second. Penny Sewell, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown. The Ravens were third. Zay Flowers and Kyle Hamilton are the two biggest names on that. Falcons are 4. Bears are 5. Cardinals are 6. Jacksonville. What's that?
I'm surprised the Packers aren't a little bit
They
higher.
are 9 with Jordan Love, Christian Watson, and Zach Tom as their best players under the age, and Jaden Reed under the age of 25. Here's your concern for the Cleveland Browns. We were all the way down at number 28.
Wow.
They do not have anyone on this list, which I think is kind of bullcrap if you can't put Martin Emerson on there. JOK, Michael Hall. That's it, though. That's it.
How old's Delpit?
He's
probably 26.
I think he's probably got to be 26. So remember, he missed that 1 year with the injury. Grant Delpit is 25. He will be 26 in September. So I don't want, listen. You know where they were ranked last year? They were 31st last year with guys under 25. Kind of worked out. But I brought it up because I do think it's an interesting discussion about we, consistently rank the Browns offense, defense, roster as a top 5 one in the NFL. But here's where your hole is. You didn't have your draft picks.
Yeah.
You did not have your draft picks to supplement your under 25 crew where it's cheaper with the rookie deals. You find your prospects. Now, again, you found Martin Emerson, MJ, great find. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, great find. Newsome, fine. Even some of the more recent draft picks, I think DeJuan Jones deserves to maybe be getting some love here more than he did. But that's an issue. Because eventually, if you have that aging team, you turn into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah. And you get into a situation where you're going for all of it. Now, that's different again. Tom Brady was there. I'm sure they put the onus on the team to go, you're just going to go make all these moves for the now. But that's something that you bring up, Miles is another year older. And that comes back to, I always think about Josh Cribbs and Joe Thomas and Joe Hayden and Phil Dawson. You didn't have to worry about those positions for a decade. You never took advantage of it.
Yeah.
You never took advantage of having those guys here. I don't want to see this window close, and it's not. It's still open, where you wasted chunks of Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb. Now, you went to the playoffs. You won a playoff game. You've been there. You expect to be there again. But that's the kind of thing when I look at this list, understanding that your future is now. There is no in 3 years, in 5 years. And a lot of that comes back to what? Deshaun Watson. The Bengals will feel supremely confident. I'm going to get to their ass in a second. They feel confident because as long as Joe Burrow is there, they feel like they will have a bright future.
Yeah.
They will always feel like they have a future because Joe Burrow is there. The Lions will feel that with Goff. They'll feel that with Tua in Miami. You will always feel it. You get Watson right, you get some of these younger guys in here with the draft picks coming back, we'll be singing a different tune.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. And obviously, when you have a window, it's because you have guys that are older, like Miles now, like David Njoku's and Amari Cooper's. But it is a bit sobering because we know how much is on the line. I mean, you just break it down by position, right? Your number one wide receiver is about to turn 30. Your number one guard is basically one injury, one season away from retirement. Myles Garrett's reaching a decade almost on his career. And then the other line. I mean, Jack Conklin and Wyatt Teller. Thank God you have DeJuan Jones. Like that's how much that we appreciate him, because hopefully he'll take over as a tackle for the next at least 7 years. But it is scary. Like, we have so many, and Denzel Ward, maybe one concussion away from retiring, God forbid. But it's very sobering when you look at it.
No, it is 100%. Getting to the Bengals. Is this how hard up they are for money? Report this morning, and I already threw some shade to our Cincinnati guys. The renovations are happening at Paycor Stadium. The Bengals are selling off TVs to their fans. Per WCPO.com, the Bengals have sold 200 monitors, with another 150 being available this week. The prices are between $30 and $60, cash only, one per customer and no returns, for 56 to 85-inch TVs. They do not come with remotes, but they do come with free mounting brackets. I did the math on the good side of it, Ryan. 350 TVs at $60 is $21,000. Is that how hard the Bengals are? Dude, that they have to sell off the crappy TVs from their suites and the press box?
Jamar's going to be expensive.
Here's the TV, man. Here's the TV. Really? Like, when's the last time you've been to a garage sale?
Couple of years.
Yeah. I'm trying to, like, because the question off that, I was going to think about it. What's the last thing you got on, like, a steep disc? Did you ever go to those deep discount websites?
No.
My wife has found one. I actually have to go pick up a pop-up tent that she got for $30. Nice. It's a steal.
Yeah. And
I know there's a lot of those liquidation places now, and they get Amazon return pallet. My neighbor got an Amazon return pallet. Dropped it off in his driveway. And just over a week, I just saw him unloading these boxes. And I was like, what are you going to do with that? He goes, I sell them online. You pay. So this is how it works with the Amazon returns. You can go buy one. Should we do one on the show? We'll buy one. We'll unbox it right here. They will give you a pallet, and they don't know what's in it. It's just a bunch of returns. And it could be a bunch of broken crap. It could be stuff that people just didn't want. Easy fixes. Dealer's choice. And you just open it up and you go sell it online. They're selling monitors, $60 a pop, with no remotes, to get $21,000 on a good day.
How big are the monitors? I
said 56 to 85-inch TVs. I'm assuming they're
a decent size.
I'm assuming they're they're 1080. It's not like they're getting 4K TVs in there. But like, I just read that. I just thought it was pretty funny. Like, most teams just scoff at that. Like, oh, it's probably even like more of a hassle to do. You could be, and again, I don't want to, like, it'd be nice if they just gave it away to people. And I'm not trying to keep people from getting TVs and things like that, but it's actually probably more of a hassle. People are lining up, and there's also that like herd mentality that I'm sure people in sit down like, we got to get there. Yeah. Like, we got to go down and get these TVs. Bro, I can get you the same TV online for like $300. And you want to save some money? I'm all for saving money and things like that. Do you have an honor to say, like, oh, this is a TV from Paycor Stadium?
No.
You're like, who gives a damn? And again, what do they do with all the remotes then? Cash only, one TV per customer, no return. It starts on so it's not, the next release will be Saturday. How about wasting your Saturday? It starts at 8 a.m. Saturday, Gate D of Paycor Stadium. You can line up and get in line to go get a TV from Paycor and the Cincinnati Bengals. Best of luck to you.
One per user?
One per user. That's it. No returns. Cash only. Get your money. Is that how bad the Bengals are right now? Like, is that how much money they actually need?
Bro, Mike Brown, least
am I
wealthy
being
owner.
a jackass about it? Am I like, you could look at this and say they're trying to do a nice thing for their fan. Why don't they just give them away then?
That's what I said.
Like, why are you sitting there charging people $30 for a TV? Just give it away, man. Come on. Like, I think truly, if the Haslams did that, it would be, we are just going to give these away. Or why not donate them? Why not get them to schools or something like that? They're really that hard up to make 21,000 on a good. That's the max amount. 350 at $60 a pop. There's some that are 30. So at the max, they're going to make $21,000 max. Why don't they donate those? Why don't they give them away? Because they're hard up for cash, I guess. That'll help with like a paint job, I guess, somewhere in the stadium.
That's
something
like
that.
That's like 2 quarters of play from Jamar Chase.
It's like 3 snaps for Joe Burrow, probably. 21 grand. All right, when we come back, we got a busy second hour coming up. We'll get into the morning update. Then Ken is going to stop by. Ken Miles, of course, of us here at Big Play, to give us the latest update on our horse. You can go follow our horse, Big Play Horse on Twitter. I saw some updates. We have a big one when it comes to the naming rights of our horse. You can buy a piece of it. We'll explain that with Ken. He's going to stop by at 10:15. Then after that, big day for the grid.
Yes.
Ryan and I, we have got to laser focus in on this. Because if we get 5 days of a complete grid, we got a big giveaway for everybody out there. So we'll tell you what that is when we get to it. Ken's coming up, morning update, time up, and our bracket, which is going to be a lot of fun. Stay with us. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Drop us a follow. Twitter, X, at Matt Fontana Show. We're up on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel there. We're also on Twitch at Matt Fontana Show, and you can follow us on Instagram for all the clips and the reels. Morning update, Ken, grid, time up. Stay with us.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. And you saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
At Collick Companies, we are making a difference in the lives of children and families in our community. For 70 years, Firestone Country Club has been a stage for some of the greatest golfers in history, but it's more than just a tournament. Having raised over $30 million for charitable organizations in Northeast Ohio. That's why we're proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Collick Companies Championship at Firestone Country Club. Join us in continuing the legacy of giving back at this incredible event and help us make an even bigger impact in Northeast Ohio.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, tis the Law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky
Let's jump on to it. Welcome back, Fontana Show, right here on Big Play. Follow us on Twitter, X, MF Fontana Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you can. Twitch and Instagram as well. Ryan's got the stories. Morning update. Busy, long weekend. I hope you're all recovered as best you can be. Some garage beers were had. Ryan's rocking the hat. That's how we do it right here. Morning update. Please take away, Ryan.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, the Guardians are back to having the best record in all of baseball, and also they are going to be well represented here in the All-Star game this year. 5 selections, Matt. That is the most they've had since 2018 when they sent 6 representatives to the All-Star game.
I'm so happy Fry made it. I think it came back to a lot of the things I read about. It was either him or Brent Rooker, right, for the backup to Yordan Alvarez as the DH. And I know that Fry doesn't have a position, and that probably kind of hurt him a little bit, but there's versatility there. The A's don't deserve anybody. They suck. Now, Rooker's having a fine year, and they have a reliever going in Mason Miller. Seriously, and I don't know how baseball could divvy these kind of things up. It could be as simple as this. If you're below 500 at the All-Star break, you only get one All-Star. How about that? You get your one representative. If you are 500, like the Mets are, but see, that's tough because then you announce it. Like the rosters were announced, you do it that day. Like, I don't know. But the bad teams shouldn't have more than one. You know, the Marlins got Jazz Chisholm. That's it. They suck. They don't get anybody else. The A's should get one. Frankly, the White Sox shouldn't get any. But whatever. That's it. The All-Star game, and don't forget this either. The All-Star game is important for the players. It's an honor thing. It's career achievement, maybe Hall of Fame and all that. It's still about the fans. And what is the dream about when you turn on the NBA All-Star game? Because you want to see LeBron and Kevin Durant on the same team. Now, are they giving max effort to win that game? Well, very clearly not, and that's the big problem with the NBA one. But in baseball, I know that now that they've redone interleague and everybody plays everybody, I want to see Paul Skeens go up against the best AL hitters. I almost want to say I want to see him go against Shohei Ohtani, but they're on the same team. Like, I want to see the best on best. And baseball, they do try. You can't really not play baseball hard. So they're trying out there. I want to see best on best. And I saw this over the weekend, and we need to get this back to Rob Manfred. Go back to letting them wear their own team jerseys.
Back.
You remember that?
So much better.
You look in the outfield.
Same with the NBA.
Right. Have them do home and road. And in baseball, it means even less because you don't need real differences. You know who's on base. You know who's pitching. But go back. Like, you remember when you look in the outfield and you see there's Ken Griffey Jr. in his Mariners uniform. And then you look on the infield and there's Cal Ripken in his Orioles uniform. There's A-Rod in his Mariners uniform. Like, you wanted to see that. I missed that part of it. But you want to know why? They need to be able to sell their stupid freaking All-Star jerseys. You know what I mean? They should just go back to letting them wear their own. And the introductions, because I know a lot of people have been posting these videos recently of, like, the AL lineups where it's just, Nomar and Kenny and Omar and, all these just players now. I got to miss that. And, you will always, that's what I'm looking for. You'll always, memorialize the past more. Where I watch those videos and it's like Pudge Rodriguez and Ken Griffey Jr. And I gotta say, you look at these lineups now and you're like, yeah, that's great, but it's not really. Maybe it's the sad state of baseball.
It's the word you were looking for, romanticize?
Romanticize, maybe? Yeah, probably. You're right. You look at those lineups, you're like, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, And I'm not saying that Adley Rutschman's not going to be a Hall of Famer, but it's like, I just feel like I feel like baseball has a star problem. I really do. And whether it's the steroid era or how the game is perceived now, I don't know. But you're right. You romanticize the past. And those lineups were just like, oh, my God, right? Now I don't feel like you have that. But the game is still for the fans. The fans of the better teams. I'm super glad the Guards made it. Were you more shocked that Naylor or Fry made it?
Fry.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, I guess it's easier to sit there and be like, oh, yeah, of course Josh Naylor was going to make it with his numbers. I really kind of question that. I did question a little bit, but happy for the Guardians. They deserve to have 5, the most in the AL. That's how it should be. And now we'll even have more interest to watch the game down there in Houston. Have they done all of the home run derby participants yet?
No, I believe there's only 3.
Yeah. So Gunnar Henderson, Pete Alonso, Alec Boehm are the only at this moment,
Right.
Confirmed participants. Do you want to see Jose do it? You know, I can't. Would you want David Fry to do it? Naylor's got to do it.
I don't know how true. Like, if it really does mess up a person's swing, then
Yeah.
I guess don't mess with it. But
I kind of like that as a question tomorrow for 2 for Tuesday. Would you want Josh Naylor to do the home run derby? I kind of think I want him to do it because he's a guy, as electric as he is and high energy as he is, I think I'd like to see him do it. Save that for 2 for Tuesday. We'll do that tomorrow's show.
Alrighty, well, the Cavaliers have hired Johnny Bryant to be the new associate head coach under new head coach Kenny Atkinson. Bryant was with the Knicks for 4 seasons, but before that, he was in Utah for 6 seasons, where he developed a good relationship with our star, Donovan Mitchell.
I mean, there's a balance of bringing in the star guys for your star player, but also, like, you got to hold. I don't think Donovan Mitchell's got this problem, but, like, when you put too many yes men around people, then it can become an issue. I don't see that here. If this is a guy that can help Donovan Mitchell, because, Ryan, there's been no part of the past couple seasons that I felt like I've been lacking Donovan Mitchell, but then that also, we forget that there could be even another step for him, right? Like, I'm over the moon that he signed here and that he's here and that he fits, and Atkinson wants to run with pace and all this other stuff. We're forgetting that there might even be another level to Donovan Mitchell here. There could be something that Johnny Bryant could potentially unlock, something that he saw in Utah. And at the end of the day, if this is anything to grease the wheels for another extension in a couple of years, you do it. You do it. I don't know about moving the practice facility closer to I-77 like they did for LeBron. Things like that matter, though. Things like that are important. So do what you can for Mitchell. They got their new practice facility, by the way, coming to downtown, right on the river there.
Yeah.
I saw the renderings. It looks sharp, man. It looks pretty cool. But you do what Donovan Mitchell wants to a point. This doesn't matter. And I'll tell you this, too. That's great on Kenny Atkinson. Because he could come in here and be like, my shit, my way. I don't know this. You know, he's open. He goes, all right, I'm open to smart people here helping us out. So great hire. Good job. You know, again, remains to be seen exactly how that all play out. But if it's something that helps Donovan Mitchell at all for an extension in a couple of years, do it. I'm all for it.
All right, Matt. Well, we talked about last week. The era of the Splash Brothers is officially over as Klay Thompson moves to the Mavericks. And I thought this was a pretty interesting quote from Steph Curry as we kind of talked about how dynasties maybe are coming to an end. Well, at any rate, Steph Curry thinks that might be the truth. Quote, I mean, obviously, defining a dynasty takes a lot of different looks. People thought it was over for us in 2019, but in 2022, it was amazing. We defied the odds. I don't think it will be replicated just because it's very hard to keep things together in this league. A lot more player movement. Matt, do you agree this might be the end of dynasty?
He wants it to be the end of the dynasty so they could say that they had the last one. I'm sure they felt that with the Bulls. I'm sure the Lakers felt the same thing. Yes. I think the thing that'll never be replicated again is 4 straight finals of the same 2 teams. The fact that the Cavs and the Warriors, which is not even just a representation of those 2 teams, I think that was actually a representation of the NBA. Now, the NBA loved that because you had your 2 stars. There were no 2 bigger players at that time of the game than LeBron and Steph Curry. So they were just salivating at this, and they hoped that it went the way that it did. But in reality, that is a poor reflection of the health of your league when you have the same 2 teams going to the championship 4 years in a row. The NBA, they want this middle ground where if you were to ask Adam Silver, he wants the Boston Celtics back in the finals for 3 out of the next 5 years or 4 out of the next 6 years, and then a rotation of other teams in the West because you want the new, but you want established. So I get that Steph is coming out and saying, like, oh, these moves. Bro, where do you think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going? They're not leaving. They're on $300 million deals in Boston. The Celtics are willing to get after this now. He wants it to be the last dynasty so they can say that they have that. It won't be. It won't be. The rise and fall of teams, and I know we're on this streak of 7 straight with new finals and all, or, you know, new champions and all that kind of stuff. That will come to an end. It will. Because I think even NBA teams have realized the players jumping, it actually doesn't work. Now, them getting Kevin Durant, sure, fine. That worked out. But I'm talking about, like, how many teams has James Harden jumped on now, right? Doesn't work. Like, even Kyrie going down to Dallas, that didn't work right now. They're still in a really good spot. But you get what I'm saying? Like, the Minnesota Timberwolves and even Anthony Edwards, he knows me jumping around isn't going to work. And you got to hold the teams accountable to try to make the right moves. I actually think that now we're going to have the shift back. Teams are going to try to keep it together more. And that opens again to Donovan Mitchell hopefully staying here in Cleveland. And that's healthier for the league. I never thought for a second that all the movement around the NBA was good for them. I don't think that works. So the dynasty part of it, Steph wants it to be the last of the dynasty, but it won't be. No matter what, there will be another team that comes back to fruition here.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, maybe this is the reason why we talked about the All-Star game not having as much lull as it once did. Well, how about this, Matt? 32 first-time All-Stars and 19 players under the age of 27.
That's good.
Will be there for the MLB. First-timers include Kansas City's Bobby Witt, Reds' Ellie De La Cruz, Padres' Jackson Merrill, Athletics' Mason Miller, and, of course, Pirates rookie Paul Skeens.
They deserve it. That's, again, coming back to the fans. You want to see your guys. And I think baseball is very strong from that standpoint. They've got some younger guys. They have name recognition. Maybe you'd like them in more major cities, but that's just them leaving and going to the Yankees and the Dodgers and all that kind of stuff. But like the you can talk about Skeens for a second. The Garrett Cole comparisons are just so eerie. It's the Pirates again.
Yeah.
He's a flamethrower. And you and me and everybody just know he ain't going to be there in about 5 years. And that sucks. I hate that. But it's just the inevitability that it just really hurts you, which kind of sucks. But, yeah, I think it's good for baseball to have some of these younger players in there, get their name recognition out there, and start to build their own kind of brands. Individual brands are good for the league. As you know, again, the stronger you can be with their individual things, that then helps the league. So get them out there, get them known.
Are Paul and Livy Dunn the baseball's version of Travis and Taylor?
I was going to ask you something, and I don't know if you actually know the answer to this or if she was just joking. I saw something about Livy Dunn posting out the gymnastics team. Is she good enough, or is that a joke? She posted a video of her screw-up, so I thought it was funny.
I think I don't know Olympic level, but I know she's very good because she is on LSU, and I believe LSU
won the national championship.
So I just assume she's very good, but I don't know about I don't know.
I just saw it because it was like her joking about it because it was a clip. It was a compilation of all her screw-ups. And basically like, oh, why didn't Team USA call me? So I figured she was poking fun at it.
I think
but I just didn't know the relative level, like if she was actually good enough to even be in consideration, if she was just messing around. You know, because there's a 17-year-old girl on that team.
Let's get a gymnastic expert on the show.
I'm down for it, man. I think that stuff is one of the most insane, like the flips and I'd kill myself. Like I would absolutely kill myself.
I'd break my neck.
The one thing is the vault, or not the vault. What's the one that they run and then they jump off the
beam?
Yeah. Well, no, they have the beam. Is it the vault? Is that what it's called?
I asking the wrong person.
Yeah, it's the vault, right? So then you have the balance beam, you got the uneven bars, then you have the floor exercise.
I always thought the rings were so insane how strong.
Oh, the guys, yeah. Honestly, pound for pound, some of the strongest, best athletes in the world, gymnastics.
Absolutely.
Like, without a doubt. You ever see a gymnast's arm, man? They're jacked. They are so strong. But the vault is what gets me. You're going to run as fast as you can to jump off of a spring-loaded thing off of that and then somehow land on your feet. It's incredible. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I can't wait for them. By the way, did you see they can't swim in the river now? The E. coli was too high. So they had that river that they were supposed to do the distance swims and the triathlon in.
I didn't know that.
And they test the water.
They do that in a river?
Yeah. They do in the river. So they said they actually might have to change the triathlon to a dual-athlon. So you only do the biking and the running. Which isn't that bull crap? You can't do that. So they're waiting. They think they're going to push it back, and hopefully the E. coli levels will go down.
Damn, remember when Chipotle had an E. coli problem?
Yeah, not good. Not good anyway around. All right, let's get... Oh, you got one more?
No, we can wrap up.
You got one more?
It was just about the home run derby.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that later because we got their participants there. Do we want Josh Naylor to do? We'll discuss that tomorrow because it's Catch a Break. Ken is here. I want to talk to him about my racehorse, our horse, the naming situation. We're close to it, and a chance for you to get on board with it. Ken Miles is going to join us next. Big play. Stay with us.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
At Colleague Companies, we are making a difference in the lives of children and families in our community. For 70 years, Firestone Country Club has been a stage for some of the greatest golfers in history, but it's more than just a tournament, having raised over $30 million for charitable organizations in Northeast Ohio. That's why we're proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Colleague Companies Championship at Firestone Country Club. Join us in continuing the legacy of giving back at this incredible event and help us make an even bigger impact in Northeast Ohio.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. 'Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, 'tis the Law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky
All right, back here, Big Play, Fontana Show. Drop us a follow. We're on Twitter X, at Matt Fontana Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Twitch, and Instagram. We've been talking a lot about this. There's no better person to bring in than Ken Miles, my racehorse, our horse, Ken, Big Play Horse on Twitter. Follow it. I am a horse owner. Ryan is in.
Congratulations.
I'm so happy about this. And I get the updates through my racehorse. So we had a lot to talk about. Seize the Gray, which we know had a fantastic run. Not done yet, which is a big part of where we're going to go here. But we have a horse here. Lahaina Luck 22 is the name. We'll discuss the name in a second. And you can get a part of this horse. Go to myracehorse.com. But the easier thing, and I really suggest this, go to Big Play Horse on Twitter. The link is right there. You get the updates. But Ken, I was going to bring up that since I get the email updates and the app is so easy, I can check in on this horse any day of the week and know where they're at. We've got some new pictures, the training. That's the whole point of my racehorse. You really are an owner of a horse.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the response has been tremendous. And I think one of the things that we hear from people, just like you're saying right now, is, wait, I feel like I'm really an owner of the horse. And you are. This isn't just a certificate on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
You literally, when you go to bigplay.com/horse and see the information and then link and buy your share, you are literally registered in the equine database, and you're registered with the SEC. So any dividends that are paid out in the way of winnings, you get. But as you said, more importantly, every week or so you're getting an update. And it's just so much fun to see the progress of your horse and as he's learning to be a racehorse, which there's a lot to it, and then ultimately his first race. And so that's what we're trying to bring to the fans.
And it's going to be a lot of fun, too, because, like, you know, when we first started this, I was telling people, okay, you guys are sparing no expense. Like, this is not some horse. Like, we expect potential Triple Crown races. I can't guarantee a win. I'd love to guarantee a win. But, like, this is a horse that you will see in some of the big races, and you're going to be following along. Now, the big thing is the name. And we've had a lot of suggestions on this. So tell everybody, when you have a colt, when you have a young horse, It just takes its mom's name for a couple of years, right?
Right. So in this case, Lahaina Luck was the name of his mother. And so what they do is when a horse is born, it stays with its mother for the first year. And they just call it the name of the mother with the year they're born. So Lahaina Luck's the mother, and our horse is Lahaina Luck 22. That's when he was born. And then probably, I'm guessing, within about a week or so, we're going to start running a nice contest for people to throw in suggestions on naming the horse. And one of the things I think we've said in the past is you try and keep the lineage of the mother and father with the horse. And so in our case, our horse's dad was a horse named Improbable. And when you go on to bigplay.com/horse, you'll see the lineage of who his father was, Improbable's mother and father, and then grandfather and great-grandfather. And I think what's exciting about this particular horse is his grandfather was AP Indy, who won the Belmont Stakes and Breeders' Cup and was Horse of the Year. But his great-great-grandfather was Seattle Slew.
How do you not know that name in horse racing?
One of the only 17 horses to win the Triple Crown. So he's got a great bloodline on the father's side. His mother, Lahaina Luck, her dad was Uncle Mo, and Uncle Mo has had a great career as a stallion. So those are some of the things you keep in mind.
So there's lineage. I said Improbable Luck. That's going to be my entry. So the big thing we wanted to say is that the naming is coming to a head here. We're going to get the name here.
Yeah,
in a couple
we're probably
of weeks.
within the next week. So I want all the fans to start thinking about names because that's pretty neat.
So again, we'll send that out, I'm sure, across the Big Play channels, all that stuff. But Big Play Horse on Twitter, bigplay.com/horse to check it all out. Ken Miles joining us here. Ken, I want to talk about Seize the Gray a little bit because you guys, obviously, we were all following the journey, the Belmont. Tough, you guys were there, but just talk about the experience because you guys came into that after the Preakness, which was great, but then you guys had a lot of, you came in as now one of the favorites to get it done, right?
Well, yeah, so I think I got to say, when we won the Preakness, we went from really not being on any radar screens to by the time we got back to the stall to greet Seize the Gray, when he came back from winning, it was like the Maryland National Guard protecting us. And, when we finally got there, it was incredible. But then when we got to the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga this year, wherever we went, we had the paparazzi following, and it was a lot of fun. But during the race itself, unlike the Preakness, Fox, who was doing the broadcast, had us sitting in a booth, and it was myself and my wife, Mary, and Michael Behrens and his wife, CEO of My Racehorse, and some of our other people behind us. And Fox had two big cameras right on us, getting our reaction to the whole race. And for those that watched the Belmont, we were leading for about 90% of the race, and then just ran out of gas. And when the race was over, we saw both cameramen just hit the delete button.
They're like, done.
No need to show what was going on with the Miles family.
Yeah, that's a tough one on there. But I think it's also great because the one I want to talk about now is Seize the Gray, right? So obviously we saw him in the Triple Crown. You win the Preakness. He's not done, though. And it's the same thing of people that get in with Lahaina Luck 22. Just because of Triple Crown, his career is not done. We've talked about the stud fees before, but Seize the Gray is a great example to get people in. If you buy this share, it's not just over when the Triple Crowns are over.
No, and, that's what this has really been all about. What was so incredible at the Belmont, we gave away, I think, 500 tickets to people through a sweepstakes to come and be part of the experience, but probably about another 500 people bought tickets on their own. And it really was just a massive crowd. And that's what we see happens with all these horses. And it's going to be no different with Lahaina Luck, whatever we ultimately name him. It's just to give people the experience. But as you said, after the Triple Crown races, they go on. Some horses will race for another 3 or 4 years if they don't go to be a stallion.
Right.
And so in the case of Seize the Gray, right now he's resting in Louisville. We'll be shipping to Saratoga, and we're looking that he'll probably be in the in a race coming up here at the end of the month in July. It's a $1 million race. There's the Whitney. There's a couple other ones that are very big, and he'll race the rest of the year.
Yeah, and that's the fun thing. And My Racehorse, we obviously talk a lot about Lahaina Luck, but I did want to give the opportunity, Ken, to talk about My Racehorse, why it is so different. I get updates about new horses that are coming up. Now, obviously, we're all in with Lahaina Luck, but there's other opportunities out there. There's multiple shares you can get from that, and you really do feel like I just, for people out there that might not even be into horse racing, this is an amazing way to get into it. Like, I can't think of a better way of taking a little ownership. It's not even just, oh, I'm going to watch this on TV. And these are not exorbitant prices. You know, these are, you can easily get involved here with this share and get on the app and be following along. And then again, a perfect example is Seize the Gray, where you're going to be, and again, this horse line alone, you're following his entire life, his entire career.
And I can't stress enough, the personal connection you ultimately get with these horses is incredible. But as you said, Matt, for really a very nominal amount, you can buy an actual share of the horse. And that's your only expense. We get asked that a lot.
Yeah.
No, that's a one-time expense to you, and My Racehorse and Big Play will cover the rest of it the rest of the way. But just really just see what goes on behind the scenes, because these horses are living their life, obviously, every day. And there's really, after having been there a lot myself, there's a lot that goes on every day that's fun to see. But you touched on something, too. Once you get into this, you have the app, and there's just so much to see. And again, I'm going back to our particular page, the bigplay.com/horse page, which I stress everybody should go and see, because that's where we're going to be putting a lot of our own information related to the horse.
See, that's what I love too. My Racehorse is great. You're going to get even more from us. Like, we are going to be doing updates. We'll have the Seize the Gray update, you know, when he races there at Monmouth. Like, there's going to be so many other things that we do. And you talked about the events, like, we know we're going to be doing things down here for people. Like, you know, if you have a dream of going to Saratoga, great. But if not, like, we're going to be sitting out here in our lounge watching the race. Like, it's going to be a lot of fun.
So,
it really is.
I mean, I'm already thinking about it. I can imagine when we have our first race, which is probably looking at for Lahaina Luck, again, whatever we name him. But I do like the name Improbable Luck, I've got to say.
Earmark that one.
Yeah, earmark that. We're probably looking at the end of August, early September to be racing maybe in Saratoga.
Sure.
And so we'll have a drawing for some people that maybe want to go up to Saratoga. But I'm picturing a big party here in our lounge. And I'm going to stress that, you know, we come up with our own drink, like the mint julep for the Kentucky Derby that people get. And I want the ladies to wear their hats. I want the guys to wear their...
I want a shirt. I want the horse on a shirt.
Absolutely.
I want to wear a shirt with the horse on it. Quick update on him. So obviously he did move eventually, right? So just where is Lahaina Luck, like, kind of in everything and his training, it's starting to pick up? Because one thing, Ken, that, you know, even just I've learned so much through you on this is, you know, as a novice, you're like, oh, it's a horse. Go out there and run. Like, no, this is building up training. So, like, where's he at right now? How's he doing?
Well, so when we actually went to the auction to buy him, a lot of people don't realize this. He's a 2-year-old. And they start their racing career at the end of 2. And we wanted to buy a 2-year-old so that people didn't have to wait very long to get started.
Sure.
But at the auction, where they go up, and literally it's an auction, we'll have this video up on the site for you to see, because the auction's pretty exciting. But there are a lot of other people that wanted to buy him as well. And just previous to the auction, the horses go through what I'll call a combine, similar to the NFL.
Oh my God, we got to get that video, right? We got to do that. Wouldn't that be cool?
So you get to see how well your horse does. Starting gate, how he acts, preparation, how he sprints, how he runs. We actually have the video on our site of him doing one of his workouts. And so they train for the combine of horses. Then you have the auction, and now you have to give him a chance to rest. So that's what we did with our horse. He went back to Kentucky, just outside of Louisville, and he's resting up, and we had some pictures on earlier. He's getting muscular, and they're building him up, and he'll be shipping to Wayne Lucas probably, I guess, probably in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
And then Wayne will take him to the next level of training, call it maybe the exhibition season compared to football, pointing to that debut race.
That's going to be fun.
Sometime in August.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Ken, really appreciate it. MyRacehorse.com. Again, check out all the horses, but Big Play Horse, bigplay.com/horse to get in with us with Lahaina Luck 22. And I can't wait for the naming. So I think, again, like you said, we're a couple weeks away, but just we'll blast it on social. It'll be the easiest way for people to find it, submit.
Yeah.
Right?
One last thing I'm going to say, too.
Yeah.
We also have a chance. Go to the Big Play Facebook page, scroll down, and we have a post on our horse. Actually, I think you're one of the people that's on that post. And there's a link there that says, get in on a sweepstakes. And all you have to do is give us your email. And what we're going to do is every Friday, we're going to draw names, and we're going to give shares of our horse away in a sweepstakes. So even if you've already bought a share, or maybe you didn't buy one, but you still want to get in, go enter into the sweepstakes and get a chance for I hope, the ride of your life.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be so great. And again, I think it's something that you can kind of make it however big you want it to be, but it's one share is not that much. You're involved with us. We've got the events. You can check the app, see the horse. I picture Ken of, like, obviously I didn't have a piece season great, but I was watching those races like it was my horse. So like that's why I can't wait for next year when Lahaina Luck 22 or whatever, again, the name that we'll pick here coming up. I can't imagine sitting down to watch and going like, there he is, that's him. Let's go.
Yeah, one thing I want to say, because I know we're all very excited, but this is horse racing, and a lot can go wrong.
Right,
but I got to tell you, that's part of the experience too.
Yeah.
And I'll come back another time and show you some incredible pictures. My wife and I, when we were at the Belmont Stakes, went to the equine hospital in Saratoga. It's probably the equivalent of the Cleveland Clinic for horses. And the amount of care that these thoroughbreds have when they are injured, and that's part of the business. They will get injured. It could be a minor injury, but still you got to take care of them. That's what we want people to see. This is really, it's going to be a learning experience for everybody. But again, no guarantees we're going to the Kentucky Derby, but I promise you, this will be a fun time.
And we're going to try. I know we're going to give it the best that we can.
It's Wayne Lucas after all.
How can you not, right? Ken, really appreciate it. Go check it out, bigplay.com/horse. We'll get on that. All right, important grid coming up for us. If we can get the giveaway to everybody out there this week, and we got a little bit of time up. Stay with us. Fontana Show, right here on Big Play.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
That's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yep.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
At Collick Companies, we are making a difference in the lives of children and families in our community. For 70 years, Firestone Country Club has been a stage for some of the greatest golfers in history, but it's more than just a tournament, having raised over $30 million for charitable organizations in Northeast Ohio. That's why we're proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Collick Companies Championship at Firestone Country Club. Join us in continuing the legacy of giving back at this incredible event and help us make an even bigger impact in Northeast Ohio.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, tis the Law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky
All right, welcome back. Fontana Show. Pressure is on, young Ryan. It is Monday. We're here all 5 days. Let's get to it.
All right.
The Immaculate Grid. All right.
Good start.
Rounds are in it. So here's how it goes. And we have done this. We did this a couple of weeks ago. If Ryan and I get 5 days and not miss a single part of the Immaculate Grid, we have a giveaway. And I'm with Ryan. I think it's bad juju. We announce the giveaway. So let us get it, and I will just tell you, it's a big one.
I don't like the fact that the Commanders are in this.
You know they always screw us up. These are the parameters. We cannot accept outside help on this one. We have a 9-minute time that I've not started yet. We will fill things out. Go.
All right.
Okay.
Browns only one team. We could just do Miles.
Miles. Certainly. Rarity score, by the way, does not matter. As long as we fill out, it doesn't matter. Tua, Waddle, whatever you'd like. You want to just go ahead and throw Tyreek in there while we're staring at it? Yeah. Okay. Jalen Hurts. Okay. All right. Now.
Kareem Hunt.
And I've got an off-the-wall one that works for the Commanders and the Browns. Because Jacoby Brissett is probably the easy answer, but you remember Sean Laval?
No.
He was an offensive lineman, but you can go Jacoby there. That works. Wait.
I don't think he was on the...
He's not played there yet, has he?
What do you mean?
Brissett?
Yeah, we went to the Patriots.
Oh, that's right. He was there last year. That's right. Jacoby Brissett works. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, right? Why are we overthinking this now?
We're not. He was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jacoby Brissett.
You're tripping for a second.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw you off there. Okay. All right, now we're into the dicey here. You want to just knock out Chiefs, Eagles?
Nick Foles.
Yeah, good call.
Right?
I think so.
Save it.
Okay. All right. So now... Okay.
I hate Washington.
I hate it. I know. This is so hard. All right. Ted Ginn, no. Works for Miami, but does not work for Washington. Fitzpatrick?
Wait, Chiefs, Eagles. Is that not also Brian Westbrook? Maybe I'm making that up. I don't know.
You might
Whatever.
be making that way. You might be. I don't know.
All right, well, it's just... All right.
All right, so Washington Dolphins, that's Ryan Fitzpatrick, right? Yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick. God, the pressure is starting to get... I'm about to have a heart attack over here every time because I want everybody to win this prize. Okay. All right, let's get a little quick reset here.
Deshaun Jackson.
Good call.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm almost positive Nick Foles works, but let's just... we have time.
Yeah, we have time. We have plenty of time, so let's sit back. Let's not count our chickens here.
Oh.
What?
Didn't LaShawn McCoy play for the Chiefs?
He did.
Right?
He did. Yes. Nice! All right, that's day one. Let's go, buddy. Let's go.
Yeah, he was the most popular.
All right. Click on and go see. I want to just see about... Well, I can just Google Nick Foles, but I'm pretty sure that worked.
For... Yeah.
Chiefs, Eagles. Chiefs, Eagles.
You don't see it on the screen, but...
No, it's fine. What do you got?
Ron Jaworski.
Oh, that's a good pull.
Nick Foles would have worked.
Nick Foles would have worked. All right. Okay. All right. So now here's where we sit. That's day one.
Yeah.
Done. We do it again tomorrow. We do it again on Thursday. We do it again on the way out. And we'll have a massive giveaway. This is going to be the biggest giveaway that we've done here on the show. So I'm excited for that. Don't want to spoil it just yet. Grid is off to a good start. Let's jump into a little bit of Time Up, who does not have such a good start to it. Little negativity in Time Hop today. So if you're new to the show, we always go back and tell you what happened this day in history. It is July 8th. A lot of things, maybe one of the biggest moves in Cleveland history, and I got 4 movies on the way out for you. But we go back 5 years ago today, All-Star Weekend in Cleveland and the Home Run Derby. I will tell you, Ryan, it was one of the coolest live events that I've ever been to. That was the one that Vlad Jr. went nuts. Carlos Santana was in it, and he won it, and I'm out in right field filming, content, and just the balls just flying, people jumping. They got the fishing nets and all that kind of stuff. Home Run Derby is really cool. All-Star Game here was really cool. And that's the nice thing about baseball. Unlike football that rotate the Super Bowl and around, all the ballparks work. Literally, as long as you get that good weather, the ballparks work. And I thought Cleveland really repped well. I love this town. I'll defend this town to the day I die. We do big events well. The draft was great. All-Star weekend for baseball, basketball, the NCAA events that come through here, always top-notch, always well done. So that was really a lot of fun. And the Guardians were or Indians at the time were well represented. Lindor was there, Santana was in. It was a lot of fun. So the Home Run Derby, this day 2019. I'm going to try to hang on real quick. I just want to go this real quick. 2019. Okay. That's it. That's what it was. It was Vlad and Jock Peterson. They combined for 79 home runs in the semifinals. There was 2 swing-offs. They were tied 29-29, and then 37-37 after their first tiebreaker. They both went to a swing-off. Vlad got 40. Peterson got 39 to advance. And then Pete Alonso won it. He's back in it. How about this? This was your lineup. Matt Chapman of the A's, Vlad Jr., Bregman, Jock Peterson, Josh Bell, Ronald Acuna Jr., Pete Alonso, and Carlos Santana. It was Acuna and Alonso in one semifinal, Vlad and Jock going crazy, and then Pete Alonso beat Vlad 23-22 in the finals. So that I love, man. I'm excited for the one coming up too because they've made this little change now. Oh, I mistake this a lot. When I do my shows on ESPN, I forget what I say there versus what I say here. So we interviewed somebody talking about baseball. Do you know that they're changing it now that you get a max of 40 pitches now?
Yeah. So yeah, it's won't be head to head. First top 4 first round scores advance to the semifinal. Then hitters will see a maximum of 40 pitches in each time round, placing more of an emphasis on efficiency as opposed to speed.
They don't want these guys because again, they never followed the rule either of waiting until the ball landed.
Yeah.
You know, they would just be up there hacking. Now, the issue with that, you ain't going to see 40 home run rounds. You're not going to see that, but I think it's a lot of fun. There is a little, which is why I think a lot of, kind of why I lean Pete Alonso a little bit, because he's done it before. You know, like, let me look at the odds. Well, they only have 3 guys in it, by the way. So here are the odds. Oh, that was from last year. Sorry. So right now they only have 3 guys, but Pete Alonso.
I'm putting the house on Gunner.
You like Gunner?
Yeah.
Plus 500. That's one book that I see. He's plus 500. But we'll do that closer as we go. We'll do that tomorrow. Do you think Josh Naylor should do the home run derby? All right, next up, this day 2015, another baseball one. The Indians became the first team in baseball history to have 4 starting pitchers record 100 or more strikeouts before the All-Star break. Here's your trivia. What were the 4 pitchers? So again, 2015.
Yeah.
The Indians became the first team in history to have 4 starters record 100 or more strikeouts before the All-Star break. Who were the 4 starters? 2015 is your year.
Okay, well, got to be Klub.
Kluber's 1.
I'm assuming Trevor.
Trevor Bauer was 2.
Cookie?
It is Carlos Carrasco. The 4th is the one that I just...
Tomlin?
No, good guess, though.
Clev.
No, he wasn't here yet. 2015, he wasn't here yet.
We didn't still have Danny Salazar, did we?
Danny Salazar is correct.
It wasn't really.
It was Danny Salazar. It was. Kluber, Bauer, Carrasco, and Danny Salazar. All with 100 strikeouts before the All-Star break this day, 2015. This is a big day for Ohio State. This day, 2011, they vacated all their 2010 wins and put themselves on 2 years of probation for some freaking tattoos. You know, the facade of the NCAA, which if you've listened to the show, you know me bitch about how stupid they are and what happened to Tressel or whatever. Vacated wins are stupid, all right? They do nothing. Oh, you took him off Joe Paterno for everything. What does that do? Nothing. Oh, you took away the championship from USC. We all know they were national champions. Doesn't matter. Vacating wins is stupid, but they did that this day, 2011. This day also, 2011, Mike Trout made his Major League debut. Wasting away.
Yeah, man.
Wasting away with the LA Angels.
I thought he was going to be the greatest player of all time.
I mean, here's the thing. Statistically, he might be.
Yeah.
But, can you believe that he has not even played in a playoff game? Is that not true?
I think he has a wild card.
Okay, that's it.
appearance.
But like,
Let me double check.
No, I believe you. That's if that, it's like 1. That's nuts. And you want to know what? I think you're right, because then it was back when it was just 1-game wild cards. I think the status, he's got like 3 at bats in the playoffs or something like that.
So he had 3 games against the Royals.
That's it. 3 games of a playoff of his career.
In his career, he has 1 playoff hit. 1 home run. It was a home run at least.
I'm sure it was. He needs out of there so bad. Could you imagine if he went to like the Phillies? Could you imagine? And I want him coming to any AL team to help them out. You imagine him and Bryce Harper on one team?
Could you imagine him and Steven Kwan in outfield?
Oh, that'd be fun, man.
A boy can dream.
Would you give up?
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes.
And I mean the first overall pick.
Yes.
John Kenzie Noel.
To bring Mike Trout on this team right now?
Yeah.
Not
Jonathan Rodriguez.
Not even a question.
What if they asked for Kwan?
No.
Okay. That's where you draw the line.
Because we need
Kwan, Clase,
Because
Jose
I'm trying to win a
Ramirez.
World Series. And
Okay.
I need my leadoff hitter.
I just want to look. I'm interested by this. Chase DeLauder, Manzardo, Jason Chourio, who, by the way, is in the Futures All-Star game. Ralphie Velasquez, who had a really good week last week. Angel Martinez, Joey Cantillo, John Kenzie Noel, all of them for Mike Trout.
Dude, imagine if your first 4 hitters were Kwan.
And the first overall pick.
Were Kwan, Jose, Mike Trout, and Josh Naylor.
Boy can dream, I guess, right? I would do all of that.
That's what I'm saying.
I would do all of that.
I would buy a jersey so fast.
DeLauder, Manzardo, Jason Chourio. I don't want to do Angel Martinez, but if I had to, I would. Joey Cantillo in the first overall pick. I would do all of that for Mike Trout.
I would as well.
He's hurt now. He's hurt right now. I get it. That's a spicy question, though. Spicy question. But where's he been? Last 13 years. All right. We all know what happened this day, 2010. It's very tough, Jim. But this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach. LeBron left. What do you remember about that night?
Nothing.
The plaid shirt.
I really don't remember anything.
He did it at the Greenwich Boys and Girls Club, I think, right? Is that where they were at?
I was 9 years old. I don't remember
So
anything
I was
past
working.
12.
I was an intern.
Or before 12.
And I had a 6 to 4 shift. Not 6 a.m. It was 6 p to 4 a.m. and I got a flat tire on my way home.
Ugh.
Probably the last time I got a flat tire. Been pretty good on that. But I thought he was staying. In reality, you look back on it, there was no way he was staying. There was absolutely no. There was nothing good with that team. Byron Scott was not the answer. He made the right move. It all worked out. He came back. He remedied the situation. The sans font, whatever that, the comic script, whatever thing Dan Gilbert wrote, whatever. It all worked out. You won a championship. But I would have to imagine that LeBron one day when he does his version of The Last Dance, I think he'll sit down and probably say, I handled it the wrong way. It's him leaving. I don't know why this always sticks with me, too. My mom, she goes, I think he's staying. She goes, why would he get on national TV to embarrass us that way?
Yeah.
And I thought that. I think about that a lot still, where I'm sure there's a time where LeBron would have handled it. I don't think the decision was wrong. I don't think the decision that he made was wrong. How he made the decision, not good. And I'm sure one day he'll admit it, but hey, we won a championship. Good for him and Bronny together. It all kind of works out. Back to another All-Star game. This day, 1997. The famous one, Sandy Alomar, a 2-run home run, named the MVP. He was the first hometown player to hit a home run in his ballpark All-Star game since Hammer and Hank did it in Atlanta in 1972. So the 97 Alls, that's one. Go back, watch that intro of those players. Oh, man. Woo! The list, the Hall of Famers, it's insane. Were you a big Spice Girls fan? Way before your time, right?
I mean, I think they're very attractive women.
They released their debut album, Wannabe, this day, 1996, launching their fame. Another All-Star game this day, 1935, here at Municipal Stadium. AL wins 4-1 behind Jimmy Fox's home run and 3 RBIs. There was a rule change after the 35 All-Star game here in Cleveland that pitchers can only pitch 3 innings max because the Yankees pitcher Lefty Gomez pitched 6 innings in the All-Star game to win there for the AL. I'm looking this up. All-Star. I want to see the roster. So again, here at Cleveland Municipal Stadium, National League was Bill Walker, Jimmy Smith, Bill Terry, Billy Herman, Pepper Martin, Mel Ott.
God, all those names, man.
AL, Lefty Gomez, Raleigh Hemsley was your catcher, Jimmy Fox, Lou Gehrig. Mel Harder got in the game for the Indians. Your reserves, Earl Averill of the Indians, Doc Kramer, Ben Chapman, Ripper Collins of the Cardinals made his first All-Star game as a first baseman back this day, 1935, right there at Municipal Stadium. This day, 1776, Colonel John Nixon gave the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence to a group of constituents in Philadelphia. Very happy birthday goes out to former Olympian and Ball Wallace alum Harrison Dillard, very important figure here in Cleveland, Jack Lambert, Beck, Angelica Houston, Jeffrey Tambor, Kevin Bacon, and Toby Keith, all celebrating birthdays today.
And our great fan, Charles.
Oh, Charles, happy birthday, bro. Well done. That's a hell of a good list right there, man. Happy birthday, bro. Appreciate you. All right, slide into it. 3 movies and a television show for you today. So you ready?
Yep.
We go back to an animated film, this day 2016, and it revolves around when you
Brave.
No. When you leave your house, what certain members of your family do when you leave the house.
What?
So, like, when you leave your house, do you ever wonder...
Oh, Secret Life of Pets.
That's correct. Okay. Do you ever wonder what your dog and your cats do?
Yeah.
Solid flick.
No,
I like it. It's a little animated because my wife and I are trying to, we don't want our kids watching too much TV, but that's a movie I'm like, I really like it, so I hope my son will like it. Secret Life of Pets. Kevin Hart as the bunny in that is hilarious. He's so good in that. All right. Next up, this day 2011, a film that has spawned a sequel. And I actually think there's another one in production, which I just don't understand.
You said when?
2011.
Okay.
And it follows 3 friends who are all in different predicaments when it comes to their employment.
Horrible Boss.
That is correct. That is correct. Second one's not bad. But what is it? Jason Bateman thought he was going to get the promotion. Kevin Spacey's his a-hole boss.
Yeah.
Charlie Day is getting sexually harassed by Jennifer Aniston at the dentist office.
Yes.
And then Jason Sudeikis, Colin Farrell playing the a-hole kid is one of the best parts of that movie. Have you seen the second one? The second one's pretty good too.
Yes.
Of Horrible Bosses.
They have their shower company. Right?
They have the shower company. They get taken over by Chris Pine and Christoph Waltz.
Yes.
And then there's the whole plot behind it. Not bad. It holds up. All right, next up, this day 2005. I would say that this movie doesn't hold up, but I guess it kind of does. It was our first introduction to a particular group of superheroes.
2005?
Correct.
Did they have a Suicide Squad 2005?
No. Wrong.
Fantastic Four?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is the Jessica Alba, Chris Evans.
Yeah.
It's not great. Here's the thing. It's the Fantastic Four, so you're borderline suck anything. You're like, I'll take it all. The one that they remade with Miles Teller, definitely not good. I have a lot of hope for the new one. I have a lot of hope for Pedro Pascal and squad there for the new Fantastic Four. Should have been Jonathan Krasinski, but it is what it is. All right, final one. This is a movie. I'm sorry. This is a television show that I believe is now okay. So it's not on TV anymore. It was a primetime soap opera. Started this day, 1992. Went to 1999, 7 seasons. That follows the lives of a group of young adults living in an apartment complex.
Young and the Restless?
No.
Or no, is that what it's called?
That is one, yes. That would be one, but it's not that one.
Say the plot?
Follows the lives of a group of young adults living in an apartment complex on a street, which is the name of the movie, in West Hollywood.
You mean show?
Oh, yeah. What did I say?
Movie.
Yeah, show. Sorry. The name of the TV show is the street that this apartment complex is on.
Oh, jeez.
I would only say it's like if I had to name soap operas, I would say like General Hospital. It's
Right.
not that. I
Days
would
of Our
say
Lives.
Days of Our Lives, Young and the Restless, and then probably this one.
Really?
But I don't know anything else.
Oh, God.
Jane Andrews Mancini, Dr. Michael Mancini.
Not helping me.
Nothing.
I
Have you
don't-
ever heard of Melrose Place?
No.
Okay, Melrose Place is the answer from this day 1992.
Probably why I didn't get it.
I can't. I mean, I guess I understand what soap operas are and things like that. Not my cup of tea, but yeah, Melrose Place is up there for this day 1992. All right, let's get to our bracket. We stumbled into this, last week or the week before?
Yeah, I don't remember how.
And we said we were going to do this, and then we were off last week for the holiday, so we're back to it here. Best guitarist of all time. Not bassist, lead guitar. So we're talking Hendrix,
Slash.
Tom Clapton, Tom Morello.
Did you say Jimmy?
Jimmy Page, Prince. So 16, I think, is going to be hard.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have to cut
Carlos Santana.
Carlos Santana, not that one, the other one. See, I also think it gets a little divided up of like pure guitar talent versus like the band being extremely popular.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't know why. Maybe because Bill Walton passing, like I thought. I'm like, oh, Jerry Garcia, Grateful Dead. And like, probably deserves to be up there. But like Chuck Berry, like Bo Diddley, like you go way back in the day of the real pioneers. Can anybody beat Hendrix?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So we'll still do it on the interest of doing it. But we're going to do best guitars. So I'll tweet that out. You can always follow at Matt Fontana 83. That's my Twitter. Ryan's at Ryan Tyler 33. Or follow the show at Matt Fontana Show. Quickly, guards! Big favorites. And I shouldn't say a big favorite. They're only minus 142 on the money line. And you know me, like taking the plus or minus a run and a half. So Guardians tonight, 8.5 is the over-under. Gavin Williams on the hill. Let's see what we got. On the season, Indians are averaging almost 9 runs a game. Detroit's not bad. They're just over 4. Detroit averages 7.5 hits per game. Guardians over 8. Detroit strikes out a lot. They strike out almost 9 times a game. Maybe you take a little over on Gavin Williams. In his one start, he only got 2 strikeouts, went 4 innings, gave up those runs against the White Sox. It is what it is. On the other side of things, Montero, who is not a normal starter, is in there. He just started 5 days ago and got a win, giving up only 2 runs over 6 1/3, striking out 4. So I would say borderline even on the starting pitching. Guardians over has hit 5 out of their last 6 games. They're 12-6 straight up in their last 18, but they're only 1-4 their last 5 games on the road. Under has hit 6 out of their last 8 games at Comerica. For Detroit, under 11 out of their last 16 games against Cleveland, 5 out of their last 6 at home, and 6 out of their last 8, as I mentioned, when the Guardians are in town. Detroit is 4-1 straight up. So the under, dude, if it was an even 9, I think I'm slamming that. I don't know. What do you think? Let me get their most recent games here. Stand by.
I think they just swept the Reds.
Their last 10. Their last 10, Cleveland over-under is 7-3. Detroit 5-4-1. Ugh. I don't know. What do you think? This Guards to win. Minus 140 is not bad. I expected that to be a little bit worse, actually. I'll take the Guards to win, maybe minus that run and a half, and if I had to pick, probably the under on that. Great stuff today. If you missed our stuff with Ken, go back and watch it. YouTube and also on Twitter. Coming up today, big day. Big Play Cleveland show. They'll have Jensen on, always talking baseball. Other guests, Blake and Greg Williamson with Come Get Some. And, of course, Hanford Dixon with Gab tonight, all across our Big Play channel. Check us out, bigplay.com for all the merch. And check out the horse as well, bigplay.com/horse. Collegechampionships.com for the tickets for the golf this week. And we'll see you there on Friday, but we'll be there Thursday, Friday, throughout the day, throughout the week with our show. Great stuff. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you tomorrow on a 2 for Tuesday. For Ryan Tyler, I'm Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.